Hey, you're listening to the All In Networker podcast. My name's Dan McCabe, and today we're going to talk about not overcomplicating this business. This business really is easy when we just stick to the fundamentals. And if you've ever seen anybody that's made it big in the industry of network marketing, it's because they kept it simple all the way through. Simple actions done over and over again. So excited to dive deeper into this topic, talk a little bit about my life, my journey, what I have going on right now through this first 32 days. So let's get started. Hey, what's up, everybody? Dan here, and I've kind of joked about this a lot over the last 10 days or so, going through this workbook, and how certain pages have just jumped up and smacked me in the face. And today is another one. So in the intro, I'm talking about how often and how easy it is for so many of us to overcomplicate our businesses. And I am like the master at overcomplicating crap. I can overcomplicate the easiest of tasks sometimes just because I get so analytical. And that's just kind of the way my brain works. And I know there's other people like me. I know there's other people that we can really, study ourselves into inactivity to where we don't get as much done as we should. We know the actions we should take, but we always feel like there's one more thing that we need to do, and we overcomplicate it. So the title of today's lesson within the workbook, day 32, we're talking about the K.I.S.S Method. A lot of people know what the K.I.S.S Method is. Keep it simple, stupid. And that just means just keep it super simple. It does not have to be hard. When I dial back and I really think about my business and what needs to be accomplished, there's only a few basic steps that need to be done over and over and over and over again in really boring fashion. But if I do those steps over and over again, I know that I'm going to hit certain numbers, and I know as those numbers grow that they're going to expand and grow exponentially, and I also know that I'm going to achieve all the success I want. But then, me being me, I've got a tendency to just go out there and make things harder on myself. So it was a good reminder, just because the last couple weeks and throughout this entire journey, I've talked about this and been pretty open about it, that there was a lot of chaos around the network marketing company that I was building over the last few months. One company ended up going and filing bankruptcy. Everybody ended up at another company. There was chaos around that transition. There's certain things that made my life a little bit harder. So then I started looking for and adding different things to my business. I started focusing on Networker Pro more, the software company we have. And I think somewhere along the lines, I made it simpler because I wanted to make it simpler. But then I started overcomplicating again. And today was a good smack in the face to remind me to keep it simple. So, one thing that I learned with Networker Pro, we've had a lot of subscribers within the network marketing industry come and use the software, use the platform, build funnels, build websites, build their email campaigns, build their text campaigns, team management, build membership sites, all this stuff that I do believe network marketers should have. Now, I know that probably sounds like to some of you that sounds too complicated, and that's overcomplicating it, Dan. And it can be. You can overcomplicate that entire process. But at the same time, I believe that we can use those systems, tools, and leverage to really make things simpler with doing some really cool dynamic things. But we need to build it that first time through. And I've got a tendency to overbuild probably in the beginning. And I also had a tendency to just trust and to sell our software and hope that other network marketers are going to figure it out. And I would say hey, you should keep this simple, but you should just do these basic things. But then I want them to build it themselves. But that was too complicated for a lot of them. And then we would lose subscribers because of that, because they just never actually wanted to do it. We had people pay us all kinds of money, and they immediately stopped doing it because they didn't want to do that front end work. I'm a true testament to, if you put in, say it took you a week, and a week would be a long time, but say it took you a week, a full-time effort, and you had all your systems built out, all your funnels, all your websites, all your email campaigns, your team management systems, your membership area that was your training center for your team members, that you were able to boil down your systems to next to nothing. So many people just don't want to do that, but you know that it would work. So I guess when I said that I made things simpler and then I started making them more complicated, is I did take time in January and before we started this 90-day run, and I went through and I rebuilt I don't know, in my opinion, a really cool dynamic template for network marketers to use to build and grow their personal brand. And it was simple. It was pretty simple. It was a 4-page website. It wasn't too complicated, and it was all designed towards getting people into opting in, giving you their email address, and ultimately ending up on your calendar. And it was simple. There's just a few simple paths. And then I started adding this, and I started adding that. And pretty soon before I knew it, I'd created this big, robust, overly complicated system to where when I tried to teach somebody how to use it for the first time, I'm like, and then you can do this, and then you can do this, and then you can do this, and I overwhelmed them. So even though I thought I was making it better, I think it just turns out I made it a little bit worse. So I dialed everything back now because it doesn't have to be that hard. What do we really care about? Whether it's my system or whether it's something that you're doing, what do we care about? We care about getting on the phone with people interested in buying our thing. I like it through an online model. I like to build the online model. I like to create situations for myself where people can end up on my calendar on their own so I can ultimately present my thing that they want to hear about. And I just need to keep it that simple. I don't need all the little cute fancy stuff in between, which I like because I've become a dork and I just start getting into that kind of stuff. So keep your stuff simple. It does not need to be hard, especially in network marketing. Not only does it need to be simple, it needs to be duplicatable. It needs to be something that somebody you bring on can see themselves actually doing. You know, the next thing that we actually did within the organization that I'm building right now is not only am I providing them and I'm helping them get set up on sites, things like that make sense for them, and we can do that for anybody else or anybody else's team if you're listening to this. But I also, then they had a big problem with lead generation. So we're even starting to take over some of their lead generation just because we can do it and just because we know how. Think about that. Think about that in your network marketing business. If you have the ability to generate leads for your people and they've got systems for nurturing those leads through a website, it's a no-brainer. It's kind of the new way of network marketing. And I got off topic a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's not just trying to keep it simple. Like for me, it's probably a hair more complicated than it needs to be, but it's a lot easier than it was, believe it or not. But how much easier am I making for people that join my team? How much simpler can I possibly make it if I'm like, here, we're going to provide you some really cool technology. Yeah, they might have to pay a little bit for a software, but, you know, we've got people that are, you know, actually going to work for them, helping them get and build leads. And really, if we're helping nurture the leads, you better dang well believe that I am hopping on the phone with them and helping them close those deals because, you know, it's all part of one big team, right? So, you know, keep it simple, stupid, I guess, has two different meanings, the direction that this podcast wants. Yes, you got to keep your life as simple as possible. 2, you need to keep the people you bring on's lives as simple as possible. And really, as you're building and you're growing, I've talked about this in some of the very, very early episodes of this All In for 90 run, but you can always simplify your systems even more, and you can get to a point where you aren't necessarily doing all of that work. I spend more time within the websites than I probably should. I spend more time helping people on the team than I probably should, but I do have team members as well, not network marketing team members, but people that I work with, like virtual assistants, that can start doing a lot of the stuff for me. And everything, all the lead generation is completely outsourceable once you crack that code. Nurturing and getting websites customized to people on your team, it's all completely outsourceable once you crack that code. It's not even expensive to do. It's pretty easy to do, actually. You know, you can outsource your lead generation for, I mean, I don't want to give you like numbers that you may or may not believe. I don't want to really give you our numbers. I know people that are charging $100 per lead for qualified leads, and I know that it only costs them about a fraction of that to actually obtain that lead. And it is not impossible for you to create systems just like that. I'm not going to dive into how do you do that in this episode. Maybe we'll talk about it on another one. Maybe that's a conversation for a different day. But it is very, very possible. And once you crack that code, you know, you can write your own check. So, anyways, all right. I'm going to sign off for the day here. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. Think about how you can keep everything as simple as humanly possible. Think about how you can not just get your systems in place to grow. Maybe it takes a little bit of time up front, but in the long run, you're going to thank your previous self for doing it. And don't just think about the systems that I talk about on a regular basis, which are leads and sales and customer onboarding and training your team. Those are all important. But my friend Chris gave me another one that I hadn't thought of before. And Chris has a 6-figure monthly business, and he works a few hours a week, if that. And he gave me this other system that I needed to add into the fold, and I don't have it yet, but I'm working on it. But it is the scalability system. As soon as you can crack the code on how your business can scale without you being present, then you win in a big, big way. So anyways, all right, appreciate you guys as always for hopping on. It's day 32. I'll be back for tomorrow, day 33. If you want to connect with me, LinkedIn Direct Messenger is probably the best place to do that. Or you can hop on over to the allinnetworker.com website, grab one of the free trainings, check us out, and there's all the other contact information on there as well. So I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good night, good day whenever you're listening to this, and I will be back tomorrow. Thanks a lot. See ya.